Tonight, we'll travel to a gentle and whimsical place called Willowton, where the breeze carries truth, courage is found in kindness, and even the smallest voice can change hearts. As we drift into this magical tale, you'll discover how truth overcomes criticism, how faithful leadership strengthens a community, and how sharing the light of the gospel brings joy to everyone it touches. These principles are inspired by the teachings found in Doctrine and Covenants 71 through 75, reminding us that no weapon formed against the Lord's work shall prosper, that disciples are never idle, and that when we proclaim His gospel, we are never alone. So settle in, find a cozy spot, wiggle your toes just a little. Now, let them be still. Let your arms rest by your sides. Take a big breath in through your nose and let it out nice and slow, like you're blowing a gentle breeze across a meadow. Can you feel your body starting to relax? Let your eyes get soft and sleepy. Let your belly feel calm like a quiet pond. Let your hands rest like feathers on a pillow. Now, picture this with me. You're walking through a soft green forest. Birds are singing gently in the trees. The sun is warm and the breeze smells like flowers and honey. You follow a little path made of moss and pebbles. Each step feels like a cloud beneath your feet. As you walk, the trees whisper sweet things just for you. You are safe. You are loved. You are brave and kind. Up ahead, you see something magical. It's the beginning of a very special place. A hidden village you hadn't seen before. This is where tonight's adventure begins. A place filled with friendly faces, whispering trees, and a boy named Larken who learns to share truth with love. You are ready now. So take one more deep breath in. Let it out slowly, and let your imagination open wide. In a land just beyond the Meadow Mountains, tucked between flowering hills and twinkling brooks, there lay a tiny village called Willowton. It wasn't found on any map, and only those with pure hearts and curious minds ever stumbled across it. This village had no rulers or soldiers, but it did have something very special: the whispering trees. The whispering trees stood in the heart of Willowton, their silver green leaves rustling not just with the wind but with wisdom. Whenever someone in the village had a question about life or truth, or what to do when someone said something unkind, they would go to the trees, place a hand on the bark, and simply listen. One afternoon, as golden sunlight filtered through the canopy, a boy named Larken Tipberry climbed onto a mossy stump beneath the oldest of the trees. His freckled nose was wrinkled with worry, and in his hand was a crumpled note that had been nailed to the village message board. The note was from someone calling himself Discipleship, a traveller who had come through Willowton weeks before, praising its charm. But now, in this letter, he called the village foolish. He claimed the whispering trees were a trick of the wind, and that anyone who believed their talking leaves was naive. Worse still, some villagers had started to believe him. Larken's heart thudded. He had grown up listening to the whispering trees. They had guided him when his sister fell ill, when he'd wondered what his purpose was, and even when he'd felt lonely. So why were some now doubting their voice? "Great tree," Larken whispered, placing a palm against the warm bark. "What should I do?" The leaves above him shimmered, and then a gentle voice echoed in his mind, not loud or dramatic, but calm and sure. "Speak truth with kindness, correct with love, proclaim what is right and fear not." Larken blinked. "Proclaim?" he asked softly. "But I'm not a grown-up or a guide or even very tall." "You are willing," the tree replied, "and that is enough." The next morning, Larken packed a satchel with a notebook, a quill, a jar of honey-mint tea, and a small stone carved with the word truth. He waved goodbye to his sleepy little cottage and set out through the village with a peaceful determination in his heart. He didn't shout or argue. Instead, he listened. When someone said, "Maybe Discipleship is right," Larken would smile and ask, "What made you first believe the trees?" Most would stop and recall a time the trees had helped them see clearly. Then, Larken would gently share what he knew. That truth doesn't vanish because someone mocks it. He quoted the wise words he had heard before. "Speak truth with kindness, correct with love, proclaim what is right, and fear not." He didn't debate, he simply offered peace. That afternoon, as the sun softened to peach and lavender, Larken came to the village square and found a group gathered near the fountain. Discipleship was there, sitting on an upturned crate, spinning stories with a confident grin. "I once saw a tree fall over in the rain," Bluster declared, "and it never spoke a word on the way down." Laughter rippled through some of the crowd. Larken stepped forward, heart thudding. "I believe the trees do speak," he said, voice gentle. not with lips or tongues, but with truth that settles in your heart when you are still enough to hear it." Sir Bluster snorted. "A clever trick, the imagination of children." But Larken didn't argue. He reached into his satchel, pulled out his stone, and held it up. "This stone reminds me that truth isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout or fight. It just is." There was a pause, a hush. An old woman named Maribel stepped forward. She held a ribbon once blessed by the trees when her son had gone missing and then returned safely home. "I believe," she said. A baker, a schoolgirl, even the cobbler with the squeaky boots. One by one they nodded. Sir Bluster frowned. He looked around at the quiet unity and saw that his words had no more ground. So he stood, adjusted his coat, and strode away, disappearing down the pebbled road without another word. The next morning, the whispering trees sparkled with dew, and Larken returned to the great tree. "You were right," he whispered. "No weapon formed against truth shall prosper." The tree's leaves rustled with a warm chuckle. Because truth doesn't fight, it stands. But the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, Willowton's mayor, a jolly man with more belly than balance, gathered the villagers. He announced that the Whispering Trees had chosen someone to help care for the villagers' needs. Someone who would listen, serve, and give an account of the villagers' well-being. "Larken Tipberry," the mayor said with a grin, "you've been called as our steward of the hollow." Larken's jaw dropped. "But I'm just me." The mayor winked. "And that's exactly who we need." So Larken began learning how to lead, not by commanding, but by listening. He helped organize food for the winter, comforted a new family who had just moved in, and gently encouraged others to share their talents in the village storehouse, which was a large barn filled with food, handmade blankets, and even silly puppet shows for cheer. Every week, he'd return to the great tree and share all he'd seen, the joys and the struggles. And the tree would listen. He was learning what it meant to render an account, not to be judged, but to be guided. He wasn't perfect, but he was willing, and that again was enough. One clear-skied morning, a letter arrived. It was from Sir Bluster. It read, "Larken, your quiet courage unsettled me, not because it was loud, but because it wasn't. I've been thinking about the trees, and I wonder if I was wrong. may I return and listen?" Larken smiled. He wrote back, "All are welcome who seek truth with an open heart." And so, Willowton continued to grow, not with fame or fortune, but with love and light. Larken learned that the work of discipleship wasn't always exciting or easy, but it was always meaningful. Whether he was reading stories to the village children, delivering honey mint tea to a sick older neighbour, or quietly offering truth when doubts were sown, he did it with his whole heart. Because he knew now, as you know too, we are never too small to proclaim truth. We are never alone when we share the Saviour's gospel. And we are never without help when we act in His name. As you rest tonight, remember this: no matter what doubts or criticism come your way, you can answer with peace and truth. You don't have to shout, you just have to stand. When you proclaim the gospel with love, speak kindly, and serve faithfully, you help build something eternal. Ask the Lord how you can share His message this week. Render an account of your blessings, and labor with your might, joyfully, gently, and with great purpose. Just like Larken, just like you. Good night, little disciple. Sleep in truth, rest in peace, and rise in courage.